Hello there, I'm Moldy, and in 3 hours time I will be going live here on the channel building probably something Lego Star Wars, so stick around if you are catching this video early, and if you're late, don't worry because I go live at roughly the same time every Saturday, and that's 7 p.m. UTC, so whatever time zone you're in, if it's +5, -5, do it to 7, and I'll see you next Saturday. On my video building the Giant Red Hulk mech out of Lego Knuckles mech, I got a request to kind of break down how this is built. So I'm going to go for that today. And what I'm going to do is actually unbuild this to show you how I put it together. So hopefully it'll be easy enough to follow through. This is using the base of the Knuckles mech. There have been a few extra pieces, which I guess you'll find out as we go along. But as with all of the mocks I do here on the channel, feel free to experiment, switch up some of the slopes or some of the plates, or just mess around with some of the elements used for this build and try to make it your own as we go along. But Captain America is not part of this mock, so you can fly back up there. And I feel like we're going to need a slightly closer angle. I'm trying to think what the last thing I put together for Hulk was, and I'm pretty sure it's the head, so we're going to leave that to the end of the video. That way we can work from the bottom up, and I guess by that measure, we're starting with the feet. Both feet are exactly the same, just like they were on the Knuckles mech. Not the same as the Knuckles mech, but they're the same as each other. So there have been a few part swaps for red. Everything is in red, and that pretty much holds up for the entire build. But also on the toe of the mech here, we have swapped out that really... I didn't like that bracket that they included on the toe of the Knuckles mech for a 1x2 brick, made up the difference with a red 1x2 plate here just on the bottom, and that is so we can add another 1x2 slope. The reason I have chose a 1x2 slope over everything is because these little studs at the end make it look like Thaddeus Ross has some toes sticking out, which of course, you know, when they're hulked out, they can't really help. And just to show off the back, some simple color changes to red, and now we've got the foot of the Hulk. Well, the Red Hulk. Next up is probably going to be a little trickier. We've got the leg. And again, the leg is pretty similar to the leg of the original Knuckles mech and is quite a tricky one to try and pop apart. But the big differences have been these color swaps. So something that the Knuckles mech didn't have is a knee. Besides that, I'm pretty sure all these pieces were included in the Knuckles mech. So right at the top, we've got some black plates and some black slopes to give the illusion of those black shorts that the Red Hulk does wear. We do have a bit of red creeping up in these giant joints all the largest sized mechs have. That helps to give the illusion of some ripped bottom shorts, just like we saw in the first Incredible Hulk. All the other pieces are in red, and then to fill this gap in the middle, it's a tricky one. We have that Technic pin just sticking out, so I've used a 2x2 red plate. On the other side, we have a 2x2 toe jumper, the one with the stud just sticking out, because that allows it to squeeze into the hole on this side of the leg, and then gives enough space for that Technic pin just to hang out freely between the two elements. So that is how we built the left leg, and you're just going to want to do the same for the other side by flipping it as if you were looking at it in a mirror. And already this seems very, very simple. Feel free to pause this if you're going along trying to break down the set, recolor all the elements. I know it's not as easy as I'm making it sound, but it is still fairly straightforward. Even the torso is pretty simple. There has been a few color, actually I think these were black in the Knuckles mech, so I've added a black 2x2 tile and a few different red elements. Again, I think this slope is also custom for this build because I remember these 3x3 wedges being something like grey or just a different color to red. And I've also changed the underneath these 1x1 slopes to red just to give a more complete look to the entire mech. Basically, just make everything red. So we've got these two 1x1 slopes, these 3x3 slopes, and a few of the rounded off slopes. Hopefully you can kind of see what I mean. But by making them all red, we're just giving the illusion as well of one complete torso. So we're going to secure that in with the rounded off slope. Do that again to both sides so that it's completely red as far as the eye can see, maybe a bit of grey and white that you could also go one step further and change to red. And then we can prop this up on the legs, add that black 2x2 tile for the shorts, and for the pecs right at the top, I've used these 3x4. I'm not really sure what to call these, but these did come off the back of the Knuckles mech, and I've just positioned these at the front to build up to the muscles that we see on the arm, and also hide that joint that will be used to hold the head of our giant red mech. Just like the rest of the mech, the arms are a very similar story. Make everything red. The hands are a little different, but all we've done to the arms to really switch this up is add some brackets into the side here. You can see we've still got the top half and the bottom half. The Hulk mech uses 2 white 2x2 tiles, whereas what we've got here is some more of these red slopes that are featured quite heavily on this mech. We've got 2 on the legs, we've got 1 on the torso, and now 2 on each hand. Don't worry, these are the last slopes that you're going to need in case you are running low. Nothing on top. You could also tile that off with red, but considering we've got these giant claws over the top, it's not really necessary. We do have a bit of filler here for the arms with the pin that's sticking out. I've connected that into one of the 2x2 tiles with the Technic hole in the middle and just attach some plates to that. That might not have been there before. We want to bulk this arm up and make it look as muscly as we can. So we've got the wedges and filling out that elbow joint, but I do quite like this piece here that they've used for the Knuckles mech. And I don't know how many times it has been used in Lego, but for this I think it works. We might as well connect this on whilst we take a look at the hand, because the hand has been almost completely done. I mean, we do have the typical thumb and fingers in these 1x1 slopes. It might be better for you if I actually pull this off so you can see which element I am talking about. And we've still got the 3 of those attached to the hand. And then we've used this 2x2 in reverse. So this little slope element in reverse to act as some knuckles for the edge of the hand, because, you know, Giant Red Hulk definitely has just as many knuckles as Knuckles himself. Again, flipping this for the other side will give you something like this, and the studs on the hands do mean that if Captain America was to fly by and maybe attack or lash out on the Red Hulk, because we all know that the Red Hulk is not the true villain of this story. Surely not. Harrison Ford never is. You can attach a bracket to the back of Falcon's legs. Actually, we shouldn't be using that stud because that does increase the risk of cracking. So I'm actually going to flip it to the bottom of the foot and then connect the bracket to the hand of our mech. And it can look like he's fought Captain America mid-fly, or maybe Captain America swooped in and tried to cannonball himself, as you can see with my custom built wings. Either way, this is not Captain America's video. Get out of here. For the last final piece of this Hulk mech, we have the head, which took me the longest to build out of this all. For this, it is straightforward. We've got an inverse slope at the bottom, and then we've actually built this on the side. So you can see inverse slope, we've got a bracket for the hair, which is a 2x2 black plate with some cheese slopes pointing out to their individual corners, which give you a nice little messy hair. We've then got some more brackets for the ears, which are cheese slopes pointing towards the eyes. It's the smallest, best thing. The actual cheese slopes didn't work, so I've used quarter tiles instead, same as the mouth on the front. But then we've got the ball joint to connect the head to the rest of the mech, another 2x2 plate to keep it all in place, and then a plate with some black eyes with the white pupils, which look better than the white ones, with then the black eyes printed on top, and this clips in just in front. I guess Red Hulk can't see his own toes. Kind of can, not too well. But when you're this big, I don't think you're really thinking of looking down. So this is how we build the giant Red Hulk mech. If you would like some actual instructions for this, it will take me some time, but definitely let me know in the comments and I can get working on those. And if you do decide to build this using the Knuckles mech, or to try and build this just using your own pieces that you have laying around, I think this would look really awesome on display with all of your other Marvel sets, or just even on its own. It does look really cool. So there we go. That's how I built the Red Hulk mech using the Knuckles mech as a base. And that's something that if you are new to MOC building, I definitely recommend. Grab a Lego set, see what you can turn it into. These mechs are really, really cool for that. And this is going to be staying on my display for quite some time. Stick around, we will be updating the minifigure display, trying to get it on the wall behind me so that you can see all of the minifigures in all their glory, because they look really, really cool on the shelf, and I just want to share them with you. Thank you so much for the comment requesting that I show you how to build this Knuckles mech. If there's something you'd like to see built, I have seen all of your comments and they've all been put on an inspiration list, because I do plan at eventually making my way down through it. So let me know down in the comments what you'd like to see built in Lego, and I can't make any promises, but I will try to have it built in some fashion and put up here on the channel. Subscribe so you don't miss out when your comment is built. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Check out the merch on the product shelf down below. You've still got time to order that exclusive t-shirt, and may the bricks be with you always.